Greetings, this is Meg Montgomery. I'm back for another episode of Quantum Evolution. Welcome and thanks so much for being here. Today we're in conversation with Vie de Rouvray, who is an innovator in the field of energy healing. She has a really unique backstory and is doing really amazing work helping people achieve the necessary state for ascension into the fifth dimension, which is happening pretty soon. Some of us already feel some of the effects of it, and it's visible all over the world. So enjoy. She's a really wonderful, amazing person, and I'm very glad to have her on the program. So here is Vie de Rouvray.
First, I was born in an island, and then I moved to Costa Rica, and it was quite a change at that time. Costa Rica was not what it is right now. And so I began, that's where my journey began. Then I came here, and I was first contacted by Archangel Michael. Mm-hmm. And then it all, rolled after that. Well, for 18 months, I have to say that for 18 months, every day, I was sitting in a chair and I was receiving from Archangel Michael. I was in contact, let's say, with Archangel Michael. And then after that, he erased all the memory of what was done. So I cannot really say what it was. But I began to recover my some gifts that I had in previous life. And then I received the vibrational transformation energy. This energy is it's enabled to cooperate in the RNA DNA nuclei chromosomes of another evolutionary inheritance. It is designed to assist people to open up to their own self-healing potential and personal empowerment.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I assist the body to heal at cellular level and raise the energy. It gives me the ability when I do that to feel the imbalance of the body of the person, to awaken the minds while touching the wisdom of the heart. And it aligns them to their destiny, giving also a better life without the use of drugs that are unnatural and harmful chemicals to the body.
Yeah.
So that's how it more or less began. And then I speak the language of the light, which is also something else. That's more or less what it is. Then, so I work the color light, but not with a machine, a computer, or it's totally different. And I use a very specific bulb because you don't want to. Everybody has the heart that is beating at a different frequency, and you don't want to unbalance more the person. And also, all the colors are coming from crystals, so it's not glass, it's not gel, it's not all that stuff. Then, so that's pretty much what I do, plus my own the energy that I carry, and then also I use sacred geometry. Mm-hmm. And the use of colors open doors to other worlds.
Yeah.
And sacred geometry is the knowledge key.
Yeah.
Musical notes open all doors for spiritual renaissance. And the sound is the universal language. DNA can be adjusted to accommodate higher frequency of light, and RNA DNA operates as superconductive memory storage processing apparatus. The sound is the vibration of molecules and travels through a vocal cord of the messenger, which is when I speak the language of the light. The primary similarity between light and sound are behaviors as waves, and both the reflected have frequencies of oscillation, while can be measured as color of pitch of the sound. Now, the low frequency is the holy attunement to restore the body temples and reactivates and restructures DNA energetically or vibrationally. So that's why when there is color light applied through machine, well, how can it replace the love, the frequency of the love?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, of a human being. Love is an energy resonant frequency, and the carrier wave silent language and fear and guilt must be exchanged for light and love. Now, illness is when you are resonating in low frequency or in the wrong frequency. And to successfully rebalance the energy, the technique of the 49th vibration, begins at the higher vibratory level, which is the etheric. Yeah. And cure is nothing else than frequency. When the body is unbalanced, the body doesn't have the right frequency. Now, I would like to talk a little bit also about the 440 Hertz that is a creating broadcast, and the 430 Hertz that is organic. 430 Hertz raise positive energy and heals. But music instruments are no longer tuned to 432 Hertz cycle per second. It is a musically evolved creation from 432 Hertz used by the musician to impose 440 Hertz that is a modern creation by the controllers.
You know, I just want to go into this a little bit because I'm a musician.
Yeah, I know. So go ahead, please.
Yeah. Apparently during Nazi Germany is when they changed the tuning of the note A, which is what all orchestras tune to 440 from 432.
Yeah.
So it was a very deliberate change for a very specific purpose, and it really look exactly what happened in Nazi Germany at that time. And you know, it's the rest of the world, and so there's this whole rush of people who have any level of consciousness at this point in time who are now reverting to 432 tuning. So it's something to look for, and in fact, John Lennon recorded the song Imagine at 432 hertz. So there is awareness about this in a lot of ways, and there are people who are changing back to 432. So it's something to pay attention to because it's out of vibration with our genetic material, and it creates imbalance and it creates erosion in the DNA. When we listen to the 440 music. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you just mentioned all that. Now, sound and sonic vibration construct reality, realm of sound that crosses the lines between the see and the unseen. That is why sound has played a vital role in our lives. Now, acoustic resonance influences the bodies and cells, the functioning of the brain. Sonic vibration affect the human body and stimulate the DNA. When your ears hear a certain type of sound, the brain responds. The body is an electrical system of thoughts, and we are the generators of our own destiny. Our own reality is a holographic grid program a matrix of color, light, and sound that our thoughts crosses in repeating cycles. It is through color, light, and sound that we experience emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And emotion, well, the creative force inherent in each of us, joy, happiness, fun, anger, hate, sadness, nostalgia, ego, greed, guilt, anxiety, worry, etc. Emotion is the key to the driving force. So at physical level, birth, we are bound by our previous experience, but also by the genetic structure of our physical body we inhabit. Therefore, we are bound to operate and maintain our physical bodies within the limitations they impose. In addition to sound, light can be applied at particular frequency through a particular color frequency and will cause your brain to perceive images, geometric patterns, shapes, or colors and objects. Sound, light, vibration changes the human body and brain. In fact, it attunes the body, heals physical disease, mental, emotion, and even spiritual diseases. Healing is tied to the balance of connection and of the whole. Now, I would like to say that each organ corresponds to a color, and each acupuncture point corresponds to a color too.
Wow.
And so that's the way I applied the light. But if an organ is depleted of a color, which is a frequency also, or too much, then the body is unbalanced. So it will stick first in the aura that not everybody can see. And then if it stays for a certain time there, you don't take care of it, you don't rebalance it, then symptoms begin to appear. And then diseases are following.
Wow.
Yeah. So know that when I use the sacred geometry symbols, they serve as potent activators that brings into one's consciousness and auric space the frequencies of divine love, wholeness, and oneness, resulting on people who may not have been actively choosing to pursue a path into higher consciousness. Seated with the spark of divine love, wholeness, and oneness, so their awareness could begin to shift from me to we consciousness.
Wow, that's so perfect.
Yeah. Embracing higher states of existence, and now to finally transcend the illusion of separation, fear, greed, and anything else vibrating at a similar frequency. The one infinite and substance of God's perfection is the only life and substance in existence and substance being expressed perfectly in every moment through the body. Everything being expressed in the body is from the Creator's perfect eternal body, and there can no illness or destruction or wasting away in what is expressed from the Creator's spiritual body. There can only be perfection. Any tissue, organs, or other parts of the body that appear to be impaired are now renewed by the very life of God flowing through with every breath taken. Isn't it fantastic?
This is amazing.
Yeah. So love is the essence, a power, and a vibration. Love is life and the most priceless vibration of all existence, the eternal dynamic life force. Love is connected to the heart chakra, and it's magnifying the love of divine and human self. Some sick people over time are unfortunately involved in the manipulation of high weapons of resonance, using it for lethal and non-lethal means for the wrong reason. And yeah, this is not really good.
And that's very common in our world, I think, and that's why we have so many problems. There's definitely people who understand this knowledge who are using it for evil or selfish gains, and this is kind of what we're battling. I think it's kind of what I'm kind of being revealed to me is this is the battle is, how do we educate people to understand that we each have this power, not only of self-healing, but of creating immense change through the vibration of love, um, opening the heart center and allowing that to be the center from which everything emanates. Whereas so many people are at the lower chakras and working out of there, and everything above the third chakra is blocked. The energy is just absolutely not flowing at all. And so as
No,
we learn how to, yeah, go ahead.
no. Go ahead. Finish your phrase. Go ahead.
So it's just the goal becomes to help people understand the absolute vital importance of opening this energy flow in our bodies, to allow for this uh, exceptional information and knowledge that comes from the flow from the earth to the heavens, and is we are all connected to source through this very particular energy flow, which means that we're all connected to each other. So as we open this flow, then we are much more in tune with unity consciousness. Whereas when it's blocked off, we are very separate, and that's when we get the loneliness, and that leads to the ego and the greed and the lower vibrations, which are just stuck. It's just stuck vibration. So this is so beautiful and so amazingly powerful that you have been able to come to this information. I can't think of anything that's more vital at this point in time. So, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that, yes, I've been very well guided. And, but yes, what you were saying, the problem is, yeah, I think that the way you have chosen is a very good way to try to make people understand, because the Illuminati, let's say it, are playing with the frequency right now. So the people that are not already a little bit aware, they deny it because there is this frequency that keep them there. And that's
Right.
the problem that we have,
Yeah.
to have people to try to more be educated and understand, and there is all this division that is done by the media with false news, and that is keeping people, in false information, let's say.
A friend of mine made a really interesting post recently. He said, when people begin to understand the psychological warfare that's going on, then everything will fall away. All the illusions will fall away, and so the warfare, the psychological warfare that's happening is about division. It's white against
Yeah,
black. It's man against woman. It's young against old. It's any
yeah,
kind of us versus them mentality is very deliberately intended to create separation, rich versus poor, Christian versus Jew, Canadian versus American, whatever separation that is a psychological warfare. And so when you just kind of begin to question that, saying, "Hey, you know what? My cousin is of a different color than I am, and we're blood, and we have a great time. There's no difference between us. But the media is telling us that I need to despise this person because they're a different color from me. You know what? Just pay attention to the fact that it's the media that's telling you that, and they have a modus operandi which is not in line with
No.
our modus operandi. It's really and they have for decades and decades and decades, since I guess World War II, have really perfected the art of psychological warfare, and they are just masters at it. And so we need to wake up to the fact that it's being used against us. And it is, they also have quantum weapons as well, and so there is a lot of this going on. There's energy directed weapons, there's mind directed weapons, and it's all being enacted at the moment. We're talking about guns when what they have and they're using against us is like infinitely worse than guns. So it's just something to be aware of, but we have an answer to it, and we can, any one of us can step out of that arena at any point by engaging with the very I don't even know what to call it, but it's like it's a mindset, or it's a skill that you can develop to protect yourself by opening up your energy flow, connecting to source, and stepping outside the place. It has to do with sovereignty, like personal sovereignty, and understanding how humanity has been corralled. And then once you realize the extent to which we have been herded, then you can step outside the herd and become a sovereign being. So this is a huge discussion, and I really want to concentrate on what you're talking about, because this is so vital. So please continue. I'm sorry for that interruption.
No, that's good. Well, I want to say that I'm in contact with. I have so many people behind the veil that are working, helping me. I have monks, Tibetan,
wow.
Archbishop, Catholic, Saint. I have many people, and I have people from other planets too. And right now, what is important is just what you said. People have to meditate, and they were saying people have to begin to meditate twice a day, morning and night, to get in contact with their own consciousness, their own knowledge.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, that's what it is right now. That's what they're saying. And that's the way to be able to bypass these things that they're putting everywhere. So I know that you have done an episode on meditation. That's why I wanted to mention that to you, that yes, people should really begin to meditate. And that's another way to get there. Now, the same way that you're doing some, and putting some conversation, or you're bringing the knowledge, I should say, to people. I've been guided to write books, okay? And each volume of my books takes the reader on a spiritual trip for its growth and well-being, which are powerful steps to personal growth, but that are presented in a pleasant way. And that my book should be read in chronological sequences. They are series of lessons in expanding the mind and opening up consciousness. And all my books have been guided, like I said, from another realm. Sometimes by my higher self, and like I said, others by entities that I'm familiar with or have gotten in contact with. So that's what I wanted to add to. So I think that between the way you bring it and through the books also, it's the way right now to bring all this information. But it sends so quick, all the informations. No, we just got to the 0010110. It's the platform algorithm of freedom. And so that's where we are at right now. I don't know if you heard about it.
No, I haven't.
I cannot elaborate too much on that, but like I said, that's what I'm bringing in that's what all this information there are in my books because I cannot. The subject is so big, and people,
Yeah.
yeah, and the people, there is people at different levels, and some are already a little bit awakened, other one has no idea, no
Right.
idea what's going on, and others they are in fear and they deny, they don't want to know. That's another thing
Right.
too.
Right.
So
Like in the matrix, people are stuck in the matrix, and they haven't been exposed to the fact yet that there is of the quantum world, right? So they have no knowledge of the quantum world whatsoever. And I deal with these people all the time, and I mean, they want to fight, but you know what? If you remove yourself from the fighting energy and just kind of present knowledge with humility, sometimes you get through. And
yeah,
sometimes when you don't fight, they're like, well, why is this person not fighting? And I want to be like that too. I don't want to fight. They realize I'm tired of fighting. I don't want
right,
to fight
right.
anymore. I want to be more like this person. What is it about them that makes them not fight? And so there is this beautiful, beautiful awakening happening at this point in time. But what's the title of the series that you've written?
Okay, the very first one I was guided by Archangel Michael to write was about, so it's 911 Complete Guide to Natural Healing, and it brings, of course, information hidden to the public on the holistic field that most are not aware of. Like just I was saying, people must know about the frequency of the body, how to activate the DNA, the activation of the pineal gland, and much, much more. It talks a little bit about the sound and all that stuff because it has to do with it. And of course, the drugs that poison the DNA. That's what it is. Then the first of the series of the to help people, find their way is the first one is Destiny of the Dog. It's a theory thriller. It's a mystical journey of a tainted angel, a conspiracy theory thriller that is about hope, courage, freedom, and a prophecy fulfilled. The second one is Time is Ticking, the Fifth Amendment. It's the second conspiracy theory thriller on a historical adventure that brings a powerful message to the world and talks about the matrix and the ascension process to reach the golden age with warnings and future predictions.
Beautiful.
The third one is the Karma Through the Window of Time. And it's about the spiritual journey of two angels, a story of a time of the last battle between good and evil. It is the Armageddon and the final war between human governments and God.
Wow.
Then the fourth one is New Century, New Era, New Experiences. It's still two angels at work for the higher government of the universe on a shamanic journey. So talks about one of the characters, Chad, that is kept on drugs under an illegal program, Experiment Mind Control, initiated by the CIA, and he holds the key to divine wisdom. And the second character is Vie, helped and guided by entities from another realm, as she is here to bring the knowledge and the truth to the masses of people. Then I'm finishing another one that is Intonex, and it's another unlocking key to growth. This book is mainly focusing about frequencies, but it also tells people that there is no ascension without spirituality or divine reconnection. It has to be.
Right. Yep.
It talks about the triad, the trilogy inside the human body, explains the link between color harmony, sound frequency, and sacred geometry symbols, about cure that is nothing else than frequency of the body to be rebalanced with the use of a new therapy that bridges the gap of the new era that is called biochi therapy that I have created. And the tribulation of two angels at work, Chad and Vie, that are going to bring this information out.
Nice.
So that's more or less that's what my books are about.
This is so amazing, Vie. I mean, it's just I mean, we were brought together through kind of a really interesting circumstance. I was just kind of fooling around with a new business social media platform called Alignable, and I saw you in there somehow, and I was just like, well, I need to know this person.
Thank you. Well, I was attracted also by you, so I was keeping, but I didn't take time before you contacted me to really go through everything that you have created or come with, and I found on YouTube, and so it's very, very interesting. Yes, it's very interesting. Your journey also is very interesting.
Yeah, starting as a musician, and I I got a degree in education, and I never used it, and now, like this journey, I mean, I feel like I need to be educating people about the quantum world, because the
Yes.
government or the powers that be have had access to it now for 117 years, and have been using it, and we are not educated in it at all. Not at all. Nobody teaches quantum physics unless maybe in private schools. Um, and so you have to come to this knowledge somehow on your own. You have to just know in your bones that it exists and go looking for it. And this has been my journey now for the past, you know, probably, since 2001, since 9/11 basically is when I started this journey. And I had musically, people had put me on the path before then, but it was like trying to understand the destruction of the world in the context of the amazing parts of humanity. Like how, I couldn't quite figure out what was the relationship between the bad, the good, and the evil. And so this journey has really taught me like how it's a choice. Everything that we do in our life is a choice. And it's either connecting you more to God or it's disconnecting you from God.
Exactly.
And so we need to understand that these are choices that we make, and that with every step closer to the divine, to understanding your own divinity and connecting with your own divinity, the world, the universe will create the opportunities that you need to grow even further. So every step you take is like exponentially larger. And it's magical. It is pure magic. What happens when you begin? Just turn your face into your own divinity. It's amazing what happens. Really, really, really beautiful. And so people start by stopping watching news. Like just turn off your TV. I threw out my TV like decades ago. And just start researching, reconnect with the non-digital world, right? And part of that digital world is to keep you disconnected. So it's really vital to make time to be disconnected, and concentrate on who you are, connect with nature, figure out how to purify your life. And then connect with people like you, Vie, who have been given divine knowledge to create extraordinary change in individuals' life as well as the entire human race. So it's magnificent. I'm so inspired by listening to you.
Well, thank you. And I would like to mention something. This journey began at one point with. I work the light, but the light is also the sound. But I made someone that is killed of the sound due to forced ingestion of drugs, psychotropic drugs. He went into a coma. Then he came back with all this knowledge that he probably had from another life. But anyway, came back with all this knowledge. And so normally we are two, but unfortunately, he's been court-ordered into psychotropic drugs again.
Wow.
Yeah. So, when I met him, he was on a wheelchair. He still is, but he was blind. He was hungry, malnourished, and he was incompetent. Everything you can imagine. He couldn't eat by himself. And he reached to me in a public place. That's how we connected. And he asked for help.
Wow.
So before he was court-ordered again, I took 4 months to help him. And of course, I detoxed him and all that stuff. So now he's not blind anymore.
Oh,
but
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. But and then didn't please everybody, I suppose. I don't know. So we separated right now, and I'm still hoping that something will happen that will help him. But that's what this world is doing.
Yeah, it is. There's a especially with the opioid epidemic, there's this huge push to keep people at the lowest possible frequency and in need, in not just addiction, but out of resonance. Being in addiction is literally being out of resonance, and it was 65,000 people last year died of the opioid crisis. It's one of the biggest tragedies.
Yeah, but the worst is that some people are picked up to be into the psychotropic drugs, and when it's like that, they don't, they lose not their power, but their knowledge, their free will, and then they access the information of the people. It's just like right now, they're telling people, go and get your DNA to find who is your ancestor. Well, through that, they can just go back to you and they can manipulate your destiny. That's how they, So there is so much that people need to begin to, like you said, to research, stop looking TV, research, because you're going to be left behind, because the earth is adjusting, and either you make it or you will have, it's okay, you're going to stay on a third dimension somewhere, and actually the earth is separating, so you're going to be in one place and then the other one are going to go to the fifth dimension. But there is no more time. People have to really research, like you said, and there is so much information everywhere, and between what you're bringing and other people are bringing, and I'm trying to do my part with the books. Well, I've been chosen actually to bring something that will take 2,000 years for people to process, and but this is also part of it, the part of the books. And the books, that's why they're going like this. And I'm saying you have to read first the first volume and second and the third, because it's too much to grab. But if you read it, and it's done in a pleasant way, so it's not hard to read.
At this point, the interview was cut off, but I think you get a great idea of the work of Vie de Rouvray with her BioKey therapy that she's invented to help people speed up the process of purifying and getting ready for stages of ascension into the fifth dimension. So thank you so much, Vie, for being here. Thank you, audience, for being here as well and being interested in the quantum world. And we hope that we're bringing you vital information information to add value to your life. See you again soon with a new episode of Quantum Evolution. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.